The Seahawks have had some questionable play calling in their last 2 games, including the end of last year's Super Bowl and Week 1 last week. Well, Marshawn Lynch's mom is not happy and posted the following on Facebook to the smart expletive media, who wrote, "That's why Marshawn didn't get the ball in the Super Bowl. How many times did Russell Wilson get sacked yesterday? It was totally different at the Super Bowl. The line was better than yesterday. No blocking." Into the offense caller, who should have been fired. Yes, I said it, fired. He's the worst play caller ever. The only reason he called that dumb expletive play yesterday is to be able to justify the 1 yard that wasn't called in the Super Bowl. Mark Schlereth joins us now. Hello, good to see you.
Hi, Mark.
We had an intense conversation earlier. To recap, Skip thinks that Marshawn should be held responsible for his mother's comments. Stephen A. says you can't control your mother.
Right.
Help us out.
Well,
your thoughts.
Now, wait, I'm just going to ask you, how are you going to punish Marshawn Lynch for what his mother had to say?
How?
Yeah.
Like fine him? Yeah, that's what I would do.
Have the commissioner suspend him and have that overturned? I mean, I don't know.
It's a team matter. It's a team matter. Trust me on this. John Schneider is furious. Pete Carroll is furious. And most of all, Daryl Bevell is furious because she obviously has inside information. It's more probable than not that she is expressing an opinion her son has shared with her.
It doesn't matter. That's a Marshawn Lynch and his mother situation.
Not this age.
You've got to talk to your mother about doing that. You can't fine a guy for what his mother says on Facebook.
She went
Do you take her Facebook away? You cannot.
Yes.
There's nothing.
Sounds like
There's nothing you can do about that. Marshawn Lynch, he's got to go to his family member. Remember, years ago, remember Kurt Warner's wife used to call in? Brenda, she used to call in to radio shows and talk about it. At some point, you've got to huddle up the family and say, guys, you know what? You just make it more miserable for me when you do this.
Okay.
But there's nothing you can do as a football team. You're not going to. You're basically, one, you're not going to go find Marshawn Lynch. Two, you blow it off in that organization. You're mad initially. You almost laugh about it because honestly, no disrespect to Marshawn's mother, but what does she really know about what's going on? What does she know about play calling?
What's going on.
No.
You don't think they've spoken about it? You don't think she's sharing her son's opinion?
I know her son was probably very upset that he didn't get the ball on the goal line in the Super Bowl, but no.
Do you think her son thought it was a dumb play that got called to end the game at St. Louis the other day?
No, I don't think it was a dumb play.
I do think he thought it was a dumb call on not that he got the ball, but how he got the ball.
Listen, as a running back, you want the ball. You want to be able to convert those
shotgun handoff right up the gut against that defense, really?
Well, what are you thinking? You thinking in a shotgun handoff that they're playing pass? And the bottom line is they physically got worn out. There's no question that offensive line wasn't very good. The Rams wore them out on a consistent basis. But you can't sit there and hold his mom accountable or hold Marshawn Lynch accountable for what his mom says. You can have a conversation with Marshawn and say, hey man, you got to tell your mom to back off or whatever. But the bottom line is, I think inside that organization, they throw that out the window. They're like, that's somebody's mom.
No.
Who gives a rip? We move forward.
No. She is saying, and again, it's ironic here that he won't or usually doesn't talk to the media. She's speaking for her son. That's the conclusion we're all leaping to. And this is a new day and age where she can reach millions of people like that.
You're jumping to that conclusion. I don't jump to that conclusion.
I think most people will jump to that conclusion.
Well, that's fine. They can jump to that conclusion. But I guarantee you what, my mom has watched me play football from the time I was in 7th grade to the time I got done. My mom don't know nothing about football. She knows absolutely zero about the game.
Well, you must not have educated her, right?
Marshawn's mom knows about Marshawn getting the ball, but she doesn't know blocking scheme. She doesn't know play calling. She doesn't know formation. She doesn't know personnel groupings.
I thought she knew a lot.
I'm just telling
Did you read her post? Go back and read her post. It seemed pretty educated to me.
I'm sure she's fairly educated, but the bottom line is you're not in that huddle. You're not part of that organization where they're making play calls.
You're only getting inside information from your son, who has been outspoken against the organization.
He doesn't talk. I want the ball. Give me the ball. Right? I mean, how much is he talking? What do you think he's telling? You think he's talking to his mom about, hey, the difference between shotgun formations and when we run read zone formation?
Go read her post and tell me she doesn't.
Stop!
Stephen A., get in here.
Stop!
I like your more probable than not reference, by the way. That was good. I caught that.
Why bother? Schlereth is obviously exceptional with his analysis, and Skip is asinine 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's talking
Stephen
about right now.
They text back and forth. I need help. I need a bodyguard. I need somebody to protect me on this show. Please help me, Mark.
Well, actually, I didn't. You can't be helped, Skip. You just can't be.
Yeah.
I mean, to sit up here again, Mark, I don't disagree with Skip's assertion that Marshawn Lynch told his mother something. What I'm saying to you is, so what? Who the hell is the Seattle Seahawks? What you gonna do? Tell players they can't talk to their mama now? What are you gonna do about that? And by the way, his mother's a grown woman. If she made that decision to post something on Facebook, maybe it would be wise for Marshawn Lynch to go home and ask his mama. The operative word there is ask, because he doesn't get to order his mother around. Let me tell you that much. But you can ask her. You can talk to her about how inconvenient she's making life for you, because they're going to give him a headache over it. But they can't fine him or suspend him or punish him because of what his mother says. No, what the hell is wrong with Skip sometimes? This don't make any sense. You can't do something to him because of what his mother decided to do. You talk about players. You think DeMaurice Smith and Jeffrey Kessler and the Players Association had a field day with the whole Tom Brady fiasco and Deflategate? Let the Seattle Seahawks think they could do something to Marshawn Lynch because of what his mama decided to post on Facebook. And by the way, they'd have company. There isn't, I don't know a grown man, I'm telling you right now, again, because Marshawn Lynch is black, I'm not white, so I don't know how white mothers are, but I can imagine, because I know enough feisty white women who are absolutely adorable as mothers who would do the same thing. But I'm telling you, as a black man, you can't go up to your mama and tell her anything. You can ask, but you can't tell her anything. And if you think for 1 second that Marshawn Lynch can sit up there and oh, mama, don't do it, you can ask. But if the Seattle Seahawks think that they can punish Marshawn Lynch for this, go ahead and follow Skip's advice. I dare them. I double dare them. Go ahead and listen to Skip Bayless with his spiked diet Mountain Dew, evidently. Go ahead and listen to him, okay? Watch what happens. Watch what happens. That's just ridiculous. It makes no sense whatsoever. You can't do anything with mama.
You're out for a second.
You can't do anything with mama.
Oh, he's got a pounce. Go, unleash.
How many asinine opinions have I had in the past on this show that you have finally, over years passing, come around? No, many, and you're going to come around. It'll take more of these incidents, and you'll finally come around and say, you know what? You were right about this.
No, one.
You know what?
One, when you talked about guys staying out too late in the clubs because of how dangerous it's become.
There have been several of those.
That's about it. That's about it.
Yeah, Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady. It's okay.
What are you talking about?
I can only speak Tom Brady. What happened with Deflategate? I kept telling you what was coming down the tracks. He's going to win in court. You didn't listen to me.
Let's stay focused, though.
Back here.
I'm still not listening to you.
Okay, I can only speak, obviously, for white mothers. They can also be forces to be reckoned with. But let me tell you, if my mother dared to post something that interfered with my business, my ability to do this show, because it upset you or John Skipper, our bosses, our producers, trust me, she would hear about it from me, and I would say, you are off Twitter, you are off Facebook, you are off Instagram. I'm sorry, it's over. And I'm going to reiterate the anecdote that I told you to start this show. My Ernestine 2 years ago came to me and said, I want a Twitter account. And I said, no, you're not even going to start with this, because as you attested, she is even more outrageously opinionated than I am. Knee-jerk opinionated. She would be hitting send like crazy, and it would go out publicly, and people would hold me responsible and accountable for what my woman was saying about me. Stop.
Here's the difference.
You're out for a second. We got to finish this. Just a second. Go ahead.
Mark, listen to this, Skip. I specifically, first of all, as much as I know about Ernestine, and you are absolutely on the money, She ain't your mama. She's your woman.
I would say the same thing to my mama.
I agree with
City,
that.
Oklahoma, who's watching right now.
I'm getting to a point.
That you would stop talking so much, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
She watches every day for 2 hours.
Hold on. Bravo, Skip Bayless, because I have no comeback over that. Because I'm certainly not going to be disrespectful to Mama Bayless.
Thank you.
You got me there. Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. But let me ask you this, Skip. You sitting there chirping at the bit. You specifically said what you would tell your mother. I'm asking you a question. What you gonna do about it if she don't listen to you?
Get fined by ESPN? I would lose face. I would lose public face. I would want to be fined for that. I would want to be suspended for anything that Ernestine said.
But ESPN won't, because they know you can't make your mama do anything. That's the point in all of this. Marshawn Lynch can't go to his mama and tell her what to do. You can
if
ask.
She interferes with his football team?
You can ask. You can ask, you can tell her, look, this is what you're doing to me. And most mothers are incredibly loving, and they're doing it in support of you, so they would step back and not do it because they don't want to hurt you. But you act like you could just roll up on your mama. Don't you dare. Who you think you are? You better fall back.
I'm her son. That's who I am.
Kid Bayless, that's your mama. Stop acting. And this is where I will bring black mamas into the equation. Ain't a black man alive would disagree with me in this statement. You don't boss your mama around. No matter how old you are, to real mamas, you're the one getting bossed around. No matter how successful you are, no matter how educated you are, no matter how much money you make, or whatever the case may be. When you roll up in mama's habitat, she's the boss. So you can stop all of that nonsense, Ernestine and everybody else. I said your mama, and that's the bottom line. You are not the boss. You are the child. Remember that.
I'm the child. Let another child speak.
I think there's two things. There's two things here. One, we're talking about Marshawn Lynch. I don't know that Marshawn Lynch really gives a rip about much. Based upon what I've seen from the Super Bowl and everything else, I don't think that even if the organization came and said, you know what, you need to control your mother on Facebook, I think he would just basically be like, and what? And what? What are you going to do? It doesn't bother me a bit.
Okay,
and two,
wait,
it's
going to cost you 10 grand, Mark.
ESPN is not fining you for something that your family member does. You just talked about it. They're not fining you. You know what you're accountable for?
Never.
You're accountable for your Twitter account. That's what you're accountable for. Not for
you have no idea what you're talking about here.
Oh, they're not.
What Ernestine might tweet.
Yes, we do.
You have no idea.
That's not on you.
I'm not going to give you an instance, but I could give you an instance that I don't want to say publicly, obviously, that would get me suspended, that she would say on her quote-unquote Twitter account. Trust me.
I don't think it's getting you suspended.
There is nothing that ESPN would sit up there and literally punish for or fine us for or suspend us for because our family says something.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
Totally disagree.
Time out. I got to bring up one thing.
Yes.
Because it's just made me think of it. Remember the whole Redskins situation with the wife tweeting? Did he ever get in trouble for that, Scott McLuhan?
Oh, that's a good one.
Because that's his wife tweeting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure she was censured, and that was the end of that. Wasn't her account suspended? Or
I think she had to do a public apology.
A public apology, I think they took, but he didn't get
have to do anything.
He didn't.
He didn't get fined. He didn't get. I mean, that's again. Listen, I get it. I get what you're saying, but you just can't. You can't. There's no way you can suspend or fine or do anything to Marshawn Lynch. You can ask him to talk to his mother.
Just for the record, I've said this over a long time on this show. I believe that anyone close to an executive, a GM, a head coach, a coordinator, if any of their immediate family or anybody close to them tweets, Facebooks, some volatile bombshell opinion that could disrupt a locker room or a front office, you should be accountable for that. You should be fined for it.
You can make the choice that once their contract, hold on, you can make the choice that once their contract expires, this is somebody that we might not want on our team any longer because of the baggage that comes with them. But if you're under contract and you're on the team, you can't fine or punish an individual because of what their family members decide to do on their own.
What was it?
That's ridiculous.
Wasn't it Marcus Vick's brother who used to say things on Twitter all the time about Michael Vick? I mean, they didn't find Michael Vick.
I don't know that. I'm not sure you don't know what happened internally.
No,
I'm sure
but I'm telling you,
Daryl Bevel's upset about this because I do. I think he's furious about this.
So what? He should be upset at that damn call he made.
I think they're on trying to figure out how they're going to fix their defense and how they're going to defend Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. That's what I think they're on.
All right, we got to go to break. Again, riveting conversation. Mark, thank you for joining us. I wish we could hear from Marshawn Lynch, but I'm going to assume that probably won't happen.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Mark's sticking around. What's going on with Peyton Manning, though? We'll react to his play and his tone. That's when we come back. You guys are are you not entertained?
I've been here the whole time.
I'm entertained. Oh, yes. That's